Alright, so we are at Texas in the truck series of the Heat 5 video game here. Let's see if I can lay down a decent lap. Looking for something in the 30.1 range. That's about what I ran in the Heat 4 game when I posted a video on it. So let's see if we can get a decent lap up here. Get a decent lap up, then I will go in and talk about the setup for Texas. Being low, especially on the exit of the corners, is a huge help, I think, at Texas. .175, so there we go. I am going to call that a decent lap. You guys can see the line I ran. There's no braking. I'm going to slow it down here and go one more slow lap and just talk about a couple of things. You don't use any brakes at all. You pretty much follow the prescribed line. I might go a little lower coming into 3 and 4. And I am trying to lift a little bit early. I'm lifting, think of lifting on corner entry. You can drive it in and lift mid-corner. If you do that, I think you lose just a hair of time. You can also drive 3 and 4 wide open, but usually you have to turn the wheel so much that you're scrubbing off speed because you're creating so much friction. Turn 1, same thing. You lift a little early. If you try to drive in and lift mid-corner or maybe a little before mid-corner, I just feel like you're losing too much exit speed there. So I lift a little early going in. Those are the things that I have to say about Texas. As far as the line goes, you can watch it and kind of see the line I ran and my lift points. But let's go to the garage and talk about the setup. So this is somewhat similar to the Heat 4 setup I posted, but I did have to make some tweaks. You'll notice I'm running pretty low settings on the bump and rebound all the way across. It seems like when you get to bigger tracks and faster tracks, you'll wind up with lower settings there. The front weight and wedge, I'm running pretty low because what you struggle with at Texas is being loose off of 2 and especially off of 4, and you try to tighten the car up there without making it tight everywhere else. So part of achieving that balancing act was getting the wedge down a little bit low. Tire pressures are not much different than the defaults. The spring settings are pretty typical of what you see at a 1.5-mile track. You can go a little more aggressive on the camber in Heat 5 than you could Heat 4 because the tire wear is not as bad and the trucks are a little more stable. The track bar, I went pretty low on the track bar. That right track bar is really what helps you deal with that loose off condition. So I'm going way down on the track bar. That helps that loose off condition. And then you can run a 310 or a 325 gear. If you run a 325 gear, you're probably going to have to reduce your grill tape to 50% or your engine will get too hot. And I debated between the two of those. The 325, you're really redlining pretty early on in the straightaway, so I elected for the 310 because if you are in a race, it gives you more flexibility as far as getting behind somebody in a draft and being able to pick up additional speed. So that's why I picked the 325. You might want to run I picked the 310. You might want to run a 325 for qualifying. It might give you a little more speed. And in qualifying, you don't have to worry about the engine getting too hot. So that is the Texas setup. Any questions or comments, please leave it for me in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do me a huge favor, like and subscribe. It would mean a great deal to me. And once again, appreciate all your support and thank